Okay, y'all, as we wait for our room, there we go. Start filling up. Of course, let's start dropping in the chat our name, business name, and states. Hopefully, you will find someone, that's in your state here as well.
Awesome.
Because we definitely want you guys to build community in person as well as virtually. So hopefully, I don't know if you have any Jersey people in here, but that is where me and Norm is based. So let's see. Where else? Where else we have folks coming in from? If you're unfamiliar with the chat, it's just at the bottom. You'll see a whole bunch of like icons, a little red hang up button, and then next to that, you'll see two little heads, as well as a little messenger looking icon, and that is the chat. So we would love for you, again, dropping your state. There we go. Hey, Tanisha from Jersey. Drop in your business name, drop in your name, just so we can start becoming familiar with each other. And we're going to get started. Probably give a couple more minutes just for people to come in, but I'm excited. We're going to start with a icebreaker this time. We had our marketing myths class yesterday, and we did the icebreaker over there. And I was like, you know what? This will kind of be fun. So we're going to do it over here as well. And then we're just going to pretty much keep an open forum. If you guys know anything, if you ever came to any of our previous virtual socials or this is your first one, this is essentially just an open space for all of us officiants to come together, learn from each other, share what we got going on, share our wins, teach, each other some of our lessons that we've gotten over the years in business. This is a great opportunity if you are new. This is the time to really ask questions because you'll have people here with different experience levels in different markets all over the nation. So definitely take advantage. Do not be shy. You do not have to come off camera. I would prefer you to come off a mute to talk, but if you have to use a chat, of course, by any means, I will make sure I'll read the chat as well. Me and Norman will monitor, but for the most part, we want you guys to, feel like this is a nice atmosphere for you guys to learn, ask questions, but more importantly, we want you guys to leave with actionable steps that you can do in your business. So that we can see just more progress and celebrate more folks along with me and Norman. We love sharing our wins, but we want to hear y'all's as well. So we want to make sure that we provide you the support to go out and get them. Okay, so yes, drop your name, drop your business name and your state in the chat. And then we're going to give folks about 1 more minute and then we can get started with our icebreaker. Perfect. Let's let our Facebook group know our room is open. There we go. Open now. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Happy Thursday, you guys. How we doing? Good.
Decent.
Love to hear it.
Doing good, thank you.
Yes, happy to hear the hi, Yesenia. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Okay, perfect. So, let's get started with an icebreaker. I love for us to, again, come off of mute, just do a quick introduction of yourself and kind of what are you looking for tonight? What are you excited about tonight? Essentially, why did you join us tonight at this virtual social? And what do you want to leave with? We want to make sure that we maximize this time together, this 2 hours. So I will start us off. My name is Tiara. I am the owner of Royal Treatment with Tiara based here in New Jersey. And the reason why I came tonight is because I wanted to see who is gearing up to really step out there for, Q2. People who really want some like support around getting started. We always see questions about just like marketing and how to get out there and things of that nature. So we like to use this time to be able to like help people as much as we possibly can. So I'm excited to see what people are doing for their business. I'm excited to share what I'm doing for my business. And yeah, I'm just here for all of the communal benefits of networking with your peers. That's my reason for showing up. And what I want to take away is, I don't know, I want to come away with like a new idea, like some way to implement something new in my business, whether it's like a new tool or a new system or just like a new idea, new offering, like something. Like I want to come away from this feeling like inspired. Yeah. Who wants to go next?
I guess I'll go next. So my name is Norman from Led by Norm. I am um, co-owner, of WOA, and I would want to take away just learning from everyone else, and not only just learning from everyone else, but enlightening everyone else as well. So just things to implement for my business that I may have not done yet, because there's certain things that you may know and you may have had a list of things to do, but sometimes you'll just forget, or sometimes life is life. So next thing you know, you don't get it done. So I would say ultimately, what I want to give back is just any experience that I have, whether good, bad, or indifferent, in order to help you all grow, and also just hear from your stories and see how you have like thrived in the business and how you can thrive if you haven't started thriving yet, and just hopefully takeaways I would say is making sure that you not only get the nuggets that you need, but you actually utilize the nuggets.
I love that. Awesome. Who's next? Don't all jump at once.
I'll go.
Oh, perfect. Go ahead.
I'm Melissa Alfaro. I'm based in California. I am brand new. I have 4 weddings that are scheduled for this month, or not this month, but this year.
Yeah.
So I just hope to just learn from everybody some tips, tricks, and see how to just the best practices moving forward.
I love that. Yes, Melissa, we are going to double back to you because I'm sure there's probably a few people in here who is also new, have maybe, gotten their foot out there, but haven't gotten their first booking yet. So would love to hear how you were able to claim 4 for the year already. Okay, cool. All right, so who's next? You can just come off of mute. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Carla. Oh, sorry. Hi, my name is Mosherie. I'm new here. Tonight will be my first night. I was interested in becoming an officiant, and I have one potential client that wants to get married next month. I wanted to come in and learn new, tricks of the trade and, get some tips.
I love it. Perfect. Nice. Welcome. Go ahead, Carla.
Hi, my name is Carla. First time on. I've been following the page for a while. I have completed 1 wedding so far. Didn't know the couple. Loved it. I do notary and I'm a minister. I do like 15 different things. But I'm just learning, but I really enjoyed doing the ceremony, writing her script. So I want to do more. I got a couple leads. I just have to work them around my schedule. But I am learning. Keep posting. Thank you.
Awesome. Love that. Love that. All right. Who's next?
Hi, my name is Tarnisha. I am this as well. I joined the group sometime in January. So I haven't performed any weddings as of yet. I am a notary, loan signing agent, everything else. I wanted to add being a wedding officiant to my services. And so I'm just here to learn, how to properly add that to my business and make sure that I'm providing the best, service to any clients that I take on.
I love that. Welcome, welcome. And you're in Jersey, right? I believe so. The chat said Jersey, so
Yes.
love that.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm in South Jersey, closer to Philadelphia.
Okay, perfect. All right, you're like closer to Norm. Awesome. If you're just joining, we're just talking about what we're excited for in the meeting, why we joined today, and maybe what is one thing we want to take away from our time together. Anybody else want to go?
Oh, you want to
Hello, everybody. Hello, Tiara. Hey, hello, Norman.
Hey, Clarice girl.
Hello. My name is Clarice Leonard. I'm the owner of Pure Timeless Unions. I'm currently going into my second year in business. I truly, truly love what I do. Um, in the officiant, I'm pretty much just specializing in elopements currently right now. And what I want to take away from tonight is more insight, right? Because times change by the minute. I can learn from you, you can learn from me. And if I can help you, I definitely could give you some insight. And that's it.
I love that. Thanks for joining us. And girl, loving the content. Okay, period. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, we only had a couple people left, so we might as well just go on and do it. Go ahead. You want to go, Yesenia?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Yesenia Reyes. I am here in Winchester, Virginia, and this is my second year doing wedding officiant.
Well, yeah.
And this year, I got my license to be a wedding officiant from West Virginia too.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be doing weddings too in West Virginia. I do bilingual weddings in Spanish and English. And it's like a part time that I have because I have a full time job and I love to do it. Yes.
That's awesome. We're happy to have you. And yes, getting your license in Virginia and West Virginia is way different from most of the other states. So I don't know if anybody else is here from out there, but it is a very specific process where you have to go through the court system and you can't just get ordained online like a lot of other states. So
Yes.
there's only a couple few states that are like that, but Virginia, West Virginia, definitely one of them.
Very strict. Yes.
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 Okay, perfect. Oh, I was just about to tell Tiffany, go ahead and share, but she dropped out. All right, anybody else before we get into our icebreakers? I would love for everyone to speak, but I won't force you. Okay. All right, cool. So I am going to use a new feature. I am hoping I do it correctly, but we're going to get into our icebreakers, and it's essentially a would you rather edition of for officiating. So let's see. Would you rather do a destination wedding in Paris or a lavish celebrity wedding in LA? Let's see. Now, if I hold
Are
on.
we putting our answers in the comments?
I just did a poll, so let's see.
Oh,
What
okay.
does
The
it look
poll.
like?
I see it. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
I don't know how it pops up. I was just curious. But yes. Okay. So we got a wedding in Paris. We only got one vote so far. What we thinking, y'all? Okay. Another wedding in Paris. Y'all want this destination wedding, huh? Okay, wedding in Paris. A lot of people are
Wait,
picking
hold on.
wedding in
Where do
Paris.
you find the poll?
I
I
was
can't
just going to
find
ask
it.
that question.
No, y'all don't see the poll.
I don't
I
see it.
think it. I thought
It
it popped
popped
up,
up
but is
and
it
then
over to the
I
side?
didn't see
No.
it anymore.
You know what? It's fine. We could just talk about it. Oh man, because some people are on their phone as well, so I think it doesn't always show up the same like desktop on the phone. But how about this? I'll throw the question in the chat, and then, if you want to hop off and say which one you pick and why, that might be better for us. How about that? Okay, so destination or LA? Clarice, why you going to LA?
Well, you
All
said
right, I see
lavish
Paris for the
celebrity wedding
destination.
hmm.
All right, we got to open to both. I see Paris for the destination, Paris. Let's see. Okay, but why are y'all picking that? Like, why is that y'all choice? Why y'all going for Paris over the celebrity wedding? Go ahead, Carla.
I saw this question before and I thought a celebrity, but I changed my mind. I would do Paris. And I would do Paris because I think you would meet so many people that are true and that are there for the couple. And I think I would feel more love and closeness and not trying to watch the cameras and you can't touch them and do that. So that's the reason why I chose Paris.
I love that. That's a good one. I also chose Paris, and I chose Paris because I love the idea of traveling on somebody else's dime. So if it's a destination wedding, more than likely, like the couple is like covering your costs and your hotel stay and your airfare and things of that nature, and you still get to be a part of the festivities. So I don't know. I find that to be really, really, really cool.
I picked
Okay.
Paris because with the celebrity ones, it'll be originally ideal, but then also with that comes a lot of stress that you might not need or want. And usually with the celebrity ones, it's just a little more at stake, kind of because they're doing this for the scenery, the cameras. So sometimes all of that pressure is not what you may need for your business. So that's why I would prefer the destination one because also you can just stamp your passport. Why not?
Right. And then, as we mostly know, the Paris is known as the city of love. So I can imagine like, officiating outside of like the Eiffel Tower. I don't know, or something like really cool like that. Let me put that on my bucket list, my officiant bucket list. All right. So our next one, would you rather officiate a wedding with no microphone at a noisy venue or officiate a beach wedding with 100-degree heat? You can drop in the chat or you can just speak, whichever you prefer.
I'll let y'all speak before
Inside.
I speak. I'll
You
say
said
beach wedding.
Beach wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Beach wedding? Really? Why? Why beach wedding, Senya?
Because I love the hot weather.
Okay. You said 100 degrees don't bother you, huh?
No, it doesn't bother me. I come from the hot weather, from the Caribbean, Central America.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Tarnisha said, no microphone. I cannot deal with the heat, honey. I know that's right. Especially, I have a lot of hair, y'all. So anytime I do an outside ceremony, I have to like slick back in a ponytail or my face is drenched and I can barely see my script because there's sweat in my eye and they're burning. So I said I would rather yell, have to project, even though I know in the long run, like that's going to cause like strain on my voice and, my throat and stuff. But I don't know. I think I'd rather that than being all hot and sweaty and looking hot and sweaty in the photos too, because I
Yeah.
do.
And this is like really funny. I actually did both, right? And so for the beach wedding in the 100-degree weather, I had the nerve to have like curls. By the time
Girl.
it was time to take pictures, the makeup was running, the curls was sweated out, my hair was puffy. And then with the mic, not having a microphone with a loud audience and the background being so loud, oh my
Mhm.
God, I went home hoarse.
Yeah.
And you know, yeah, it's a lot. It's challenging, but we get the job done, right?
Right. Definitely. I have had situations where they're like the microphone cut out or it just stopped working or it was overheated or whatever. And like I was put in a position to have to project. So I don't know. Plus, if I do a beach wedding, like I want to have my shoes off, and you can't have your shoes off in 100-degree weather because that the sand gonna burn you. So that's my 2 cents. Did anyone else want to share which one they would rather?
I chose beach because I mean I hate the heat. However, I originally have loudness around me at all times every day, so I kind of want not to yell.
I can understand that. And then Ketney said, a beach wedding. I love the beach, and as a Caribbean woman, I can't stand the cold. Girl, I feel you. I do. I love the beach too. I have yet to do a beach wedding, so that is absolutely on my bucket list as well. Okay, and then we have our last one, which is, would you rather officiate a sunrise wedding at 5 a.m. or a midnight wedding under the stars? Go ahead, Melissa.
That's hard. I would probably say midnight because I would still be awake at that time. Mornings.
I feel you on that. That's a good one. I think I would. Yesterday, I said under the stars, but thinking about it, I do think something about a sunrise wedding would be very beautiful. I would hate to have to get up early enough to catch a sunrise, but I think the picturesque and like the ambiance, like I feel like it would just create a magic that can't be done like no other way, no other time of day, like nothing artificially. The most beautiful venue can't, compare to the backdrop of the sunrise. Like, so I think I have to say the sunrise as well.
I actually have one where they're trying to get the sun before it goes down.
See, that's a good one too. A sunset wedding. That's beautiful. I love that. Go ahead, Yesenia.
Maybe at midnight.
Midnight?
Yeah.
You want to be under the stars?
Under the stars, yes.
Yeah.
In the morning, I think if I wait, like in the morning, I'm not gonna able to sleep all night. Just thinking that I have to be awake so early and be late.
Yeah.
And then you have to be ready, prepared, for the wedding. And then probably not gonna get enough sleep thinking that I have to be there on time. Yeah.
That's funny. No,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah. When you have something important to do the next day early in the morning, you're like more anxious, like at
Yes.
night. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And then you gotta be ready, you do your hair, your makeup. So being there like 5 in the morning, you have to be up like probably 2 in the morning to get ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And a lot of times when they're doing like those sunrise, weddings, sometimes they want to go someplace that's like, a little bit more in nature. So maybe it's like a mountaintop or like you said, like a beach or just something like that where you're kind of more integrated. And you probably do got to travel a little bit further out than like where we typically live in a city. So
Yes.
I can see that. I love that. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for playing a little bit of Would You Rather. Now I want to talk a little bit about kind of like the wedding day routine. So we are starting to gear up to move into like active wedding season. As everything starts defrosting, so does basically the wedding industry. So now this is a time where you're going to get a lot more, calls and inquiries for 2025. Even some people are getting a jump head start for 2026. So I really want to, especially because some people are new here, haven't done a wedding, maybe have a wedding book, but still haven't physically done one. I would love for there to be a little bit of conversation about what the wedding day routine looks like, as well as if you are scheduled, have booked a wedding, or you're booking a wedding at a venue versus maybe what you're used to. What kind of questions do you have as far as what to do and what is your responsibilities as the officiant on wedding day? That sounds cool. Okay, so let's see. Drop a 1 in the chat if you have not done any weddings. Drop a 2 in the chat if you've done less than 5 weddings, and drop a 3 in the chat if you've done 5 or more. Okay. Okay. Got a little variety here.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Okay. So for my people that dropped a 2, Ketney, Carla, and even Yesenia, I want to hear as well. I forgot which number to put. 1 is for 0 weddings, 2 is for less than 5, and 3 is for over 5. But yeah, so yeah, Clarice, we're gonna get to you too, girl. But okay, so for the people who dropped a 2 in the chat, I want you, if you can, just talk about what is your wedding day routine. When do you usually arrive there? Who do you interact with once you get there? How do you prepare for wedding day, and what do you do once you arrive on the at the ceremony site?
Hi, everyone. It's
Hey.
Kenny. Well, I only did 1 wedding last year,
Okay.
but I can tell you it was a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's so how could I describe it? The wedding went fine, but the thing is, um, I prepared my script and everything. I made sure to go over it over and over and over again. But what happened that day was the bride got into an accident, but she was fine, thank God.
Yes.
So we didn't have time to prepare anything because everybody was depending on me to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
So I had to really come up with some ideas on where they're gonna stand, what they're gonna do. So thankfully I did look up, some videos of how people did official wedding, so that I didn't look I didn't want to look unprofessional. I didn't want to look like I didn't know what I was doing, but everything went fine. So it was a lot.
So is there something, because you said it was a learning experience, so what do you feel like you learned from that experience? What do you feel like you could have done to better prepare you, for the next time?
I think next time I have to reach out more to the couple. I didn't really do that as much.
Okay.
Because everybody's busy, sure, but I wish I could have reach out to the couple more. But they did reach out to me whenever they needed something. I made myself open. If they needed a venue, if they need whatever they needed, I made sure to let them know, hey, whatever I can do for you, let me know. If I can find a venue, if you need whatever it is, I'm here for you. But in terms of other things, I did send them the script. I send them, okay, do you like it? But there are certain things I wish I could reach out to the groom and bride to let them know, okay, is there anything else you need other than me, if looking for a venue or whatever. But overall it was fine. But that's my only thing. I was a bit nervous, sure, but I got through it. But I wish I could have reached out to the couple more.
Okay. I love that. So, just moving forward, if you are planning to continue on in this industry, what do you want to do different? How often do you want to reach out to your couple? Like, how do you want to change that process? Because this is a time, right? This is the time for you to be building out however you want to run your business, whether you want to do a questionnaire with them, whether you want to do a call with them, whether you want to ask certain questions within your consultation to get the information that you need. Like, this is the point in your business where you start to develop what, you know, we would call like your standard procedures, how you handle every single couple from once they reach out to you saying, I'm interested, to you going and performing the wedding and, you know, signing off on the wedding license. Go ahead, Carla. Oh, sorry. Oh, 1 second, Kenzie. I'm just curious what she's going to say. Go ahead, Carla.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I was just going to say when I did my wedding, I was able to reach out to the bride. We talked on the phone, did a consult. I had all my questions prepared, and I asked her over the phone. And then she wanted me to do her script. And I was like, okay. So I did a script. I kind of got an idea of what she liked, sent it to her. We only had one change. She went over it with her fiance. So when I went to the wedding, her mother was awesome because she was the coordinator. It was a small wedding. I just had to go in, meet my point of person to do make sure we had the licenses together, the fee. And we had all of that together. I just kind of gave him instructions, him and the mother, and they went to them. And when it was time, they were only 5 minutes late. We were able to do the ceremony. We didn't have any hiccups. They kind of liked, I kind of brought in a little funny to it and a little bit of churchy. It was on Sunday because I asked beforehand, but I made sure. So we didn't have any hiccups. The only thing that for a bigger wedding, I would definitely um, want to know a little bit more about the venue. I had never been there before, so we were an hour and a half early, but thank goodness because the venue was kind of weird. I had to change. It was a lot of things, but no hiccups, no problems. Loved it. Can't wait to do more, but I know that I definitely I want to know the venue more. So I'm gonna research where they're gonna have the venue more. And I did ask her, but um it was like a mansion turned into a wedding venue. So it was, yeah, but that's my only thing. I enjoyed it and I can't wait to get more tips. I do want to do bigger weddings, but my thing is definitely the venue. I want to make sure that I'm able to get to the venue and figuring out where people stand because in that house it was turned backward.
So Carla, I have something for you. And
Okay.
this is something that'll help you with the venue. So I'm gonna challenge you that when you get future clientele and it's at a venue, this is going to be a two bird in one stone thing. One, visit the venue in advance. And at that time, when you're visiting in advance, you can go and also market your future services to them and see if they have like a preferred vendor list and see how you can get on it. So you can simply let them know, hey, not make it as a full sales pitch, but say, hey, my name is Carla. I'm actually doing a wedding here on the 30th of April. And I just wanted to be comfortable and see, like, scope out your venue, see what you have. One thing you could do is get marketing material from them, like, hey, do you need me to promote like your venue? And make it more of a like not just you taking, but also like you're giving something to them for them to want to use you more.
Oh, thank you. That's
No
wonderful.
problem.
I'm gonna note that down when I get off. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I want to definitely circle back on talking about, venue etiquette, dealing with venue staff and all of that stuff, especially when you're starting to do bigger weddings. But just to go back to, again, talking about how you develop the way that you interact with your couples kind of beforehand and like what that process looks like. Usually when it's an elopement, something that's more smaller scale and also just non-custom. So you're just doing more like pre-written type of ceremony. A lot of the times there is probably less engagement than when you're doing a bigger wedding. Usually a bigger wedding, people want you to learn their love story maybe a little bit. And so you want to take a little bit more time to get to know them. You want to finalize, who their vendors are, making sure that the location is still the same, making sure that the start time is still the same, making sure that, the guest size doesn't really, matter here or there, but I just personally like to make sure that all of the details that they told me at the beginning is still accurate. And if there are any updates, just let me know what the updates are. But yeah, I just wanted to go right back to Ketney real quick. And if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I truly apologize. I had a very long day. But yeah, I just wanted to hear what is your ideas moving forward with how you want to engage with your couples beforehand.
I kind of made another mistake. I forgot to mention that. I kind of made a mistake on the
On the license.
yeah.
Okay, let's talk about
Yeah.
it. It happens.
So I did fill it out good, but the thing is the way I worded everything was the only problem. Other than that, everything was fine. So that's another thing that I learned, because it did give me a simple, but it wasn't really like telling me how to specifically write it on each line. It just told me, hey, this is where I should put my address, my name, but not some samples they tell you, hey, this is how you gotta write certain things, but it didn't tell me how to. So there's
Yeah.
the one of the things that I messed up on, but it wasn't that bad. So the couple were able to get another license, so it's fine.
Okay, so was it like the title? Like, did you put officiant instead of minister? Did you put something in the wrong line, or?
No, it's because the address, all I had to write was the I didn't need to put the state. All I needed to put was the whole address minus the state and the zip code.
Got you.
So I
Okay.
put the whole thing, and I wasn't supposed to do that. The other part was um I had to spell out the 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 month, like if
Okay.
it's February 15th,
Mhm.
not 02/15, but instead
Mhm.
FEB, like spelled like the first
Yeah,
three
like fill it out.
letters. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Of FEB 15/20/25. So now I know it for future reference,
Yeah.
but it didn't really tell me how to write it. It just told me this is where I need to sign, this is what I need to put, but not how to write it.
Mhm.
So that's that's another thing that I made a mistake on.
Okay. I just wanted to say, that piece is really, really good that you speak to the marriage license. So for people who are just getting started, obviously one of your responsibilities as the officiant is to complete the marriage license. I want to say most states, the officiant is also responsible for filing the marriage license. So if that is your responsibility, then you need to, know where to file. But more importantly, you want to make sure that you fill out the actual form correctly. So a lot of the times they will send, and sometimes your couples won't give it to you, but if you advise them to, of course they would, but they'll come with an instruction sheet. So like the same way a lot of us in here are notaries, and they usually come with like a notary like instruction sheet, this is what you need to do. They have a very similar one for officiants where they'll tell you, little things like making sure you put minister instead of putting officiant or reverend or something like any other title. Something like if you have to use a specific pen color, whether blue or black, that information should be on there. To her point, when you have to like literally spell out maybe the entire year or spell out the entire month, like those things are good to know. So I don't know if they have that, or maybe your couple just didn't give it to you, but usually every city clerk, I'm pretty sure, issues the marriage license with instructions because they don't know if the officiant is a professional or, a friend or family member. So it typically comes with instructions. So when you're doing a new city, I highly suggest to like look over the instructions page, just like a little breeze. Because even for me now, I did a wedding in, technically it was South Brunswick, but I was in like Kingsburg, but Kingsburg is like I don't know, like a sub-city within South Brunswick. So for the instructions, if you did a wedding in any of these 3 cities, you were supposed to put South Brunswick. Even if I was in Kingsburg, like I have to put South Brunswick. And so that's not usual for marriage licenses in New Jersey. But if I didn't read the instructions, I wouldn't have known that. So I highly suggest, even though a lot of it's the same information, just glance over the instructions that come with the marriage license. Encourage your couples to only look it over for clerical errors, but like don't take anything out of the envelope. Like give it to you exactly how they received it from the city clerk, because there's usually instructions on there. And again, if this is your first time, you just want to be extra careful, because sometimes for them to get another license, they have to pay. And so you don't want to make that your expense. And then you don't want to make it their expense because you messed up. So save yourself a couple of coins. It might be only $10, $15, $20, $25, but it's also the inconvenience of them having to go and make another appointment to go pick up that license again for, again, an error that we made. So it's my little spiel about the marriage license. And actually something that me and Norman learned, well, I learned it and I had shared it with Norman, was when in New Jersey, you have 4 licenses. The first 2 go back to the city clerk. The third one stays with the couple. The fourth one stays with the officiant. If you turn in your marriage license in person in New Jersey, they will sign your 4th copy as a receipt to say that you have dropped it off. So again, I don't know how you are able to gather receipts or proof of delivery in your state, but in New Jersey, that's one way to receive it if you hand deliver your marriage licenses. It's my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there was a couple of other 2s and 3s in here as well. Clarice, I would love for you to chat, because I know you have, be it based in New York, you have more like international couples as well. So not people that you can probably like see very often, or maybe on different time zones or whatever the situation is. So if you would love to share, we would love to hear kind of what is your couple engagement before like wedding day.
So this is, I have done 24 weddings so far, and I'm approaching my second year. So I'm so happy and about
Congrats.
that. Thank you. And so Bruno, stop. And so because I specialize in elopements, I have a lot of international couples that travel to New York that want to elope in New York. The time zone, the difference in time, it can be very, very challenging. One time I feel like I lost a couple because I I I wasn't up on their time zone, and I feel like I lost them because of that. And they wrote me and they said, "Hey, what happened to our consultation?" I said, "Oh my God, I totally forgot and put my alarm on." And because I deal with international couples, I think it's very important. I know now, as I'm making the mistakes, how to clean it up. I have a time zone clock on my phone. So when I do have consultations, I make sure that I have alarms set for those specific time zones based on where they are. Um, I have preparing for wedding day. I first start with the consultation. I do have a questionnaire. I have a contract. Um, and then I write the script. And once the couple agree to everything, then we have payment. Well, deposit and then full payment before the ceremony. Um, and then it's wedding day. So it's truly simple. But it's my process is really simple, but it's very quick. I don't really have any hiccups. I haven't really have had any hiccups in terms of preparing for wedding day.
That's good.
I did have one mistake in which I mentioned that I believe in our last in your last um
The social.
social. Yes. I married a couple that traveled from Bosnia, and
Oh,
their marriage license flew into the water right under the Brooklyn Bridge, and they were flying back home maybe 2 days later, and then we were around the time where it was election day, so the office wasn't open. It was so chaotic and so much drama I had to do to get that license, the marriage license, back into good grace for the couple to sign. But you know what, that mistake and that headache and that hiccup actually turned a couple to friends. And so I can actually say I have friends now that live in Bosnia.
I love.
Yeah.
No, that's
So
great.
I just and for those that only have a few under their belt, and if this is something that you do look forward to doing, you're gonna make mistakes, but you have to, like, the next time it happens, you have to know how to clean it up real fast. Like, you have to make sure that your mistakes are no longer mistakes, and you know how to get it together the following, for your next wedding.
Yeah.
And I use every couple as a learning strategy, like every couple, because there's times where I'm like, this wedding, I feel like I didn't do my best in this area. I feel like I didn't do my best in this area, and I'm learning, as I go along, to each couple, how to navigate and clean up those hiccups or the things that I feel that I didn't do such a great job in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. Thanks for sharing. That was so
No
good.
problem.
Well, three things on that. The first one is this is absolutely like, what do you call that? Getting your reps in. Like every single wedding that you do, it's literally another rep under your belt. It's going to be a completely unique experience. Not every elopement is going to be the same. Not every venue wedding is going to be the same. Not every luxury wedding is going to be the same. Not every backyard wedding is going to be the same. So, as Clarice was saying, like every couple is an opportunity for a learning experience. And I will also suggest, especially if like these weddings are more low key, to see if you could bring like some type of an assistant or just someone with you, just so you can get some feedback. When I started to do venue weddings, I started to bring like someone with me to the ceremony. I would let the couple know, but that was like my person to tell me like, hey, on our drive back, I'm like, what could I have done better? Like, do you think this joke landed? What were the people's like, perceptions and stuff like that? Almost like my ears like on the ground in a way. But it was always an opportunity for constructive criticism, because I never let them hear my script either. So that part was good too. So they got to experience it for the first time along with the guests. And, I would ask them like, okay, what did you learn about the couple, from the story and stuff like that. So I always thought that was a great way to just see how my script landed, what I wanted to change in terms of that.
Hmm.
And then the other thing I was going to say, Clarice, is, do you think it's time to get a Calendly? So Calendly is a scheduling tool. You can like schedule your consultations and stuff through there. If you use like just one meeting, so just for consultations, it is free. It is Black owned as well. But only reason I say that is because you can basically have it set up where they can pick a time of their convenience to schedule with you. It'll automatically go to their time zone, automatically be put on your calendar for your time zone. And then you can have automation set in there with reminders for you and for the couple, either text or email. You can have them reconfirm, which I do a lot, which has significantly lowered my no call, no shows for like a consultation, because it's like that reminder, like, hey girl, I'll see you in 30 minutes. And then also you can, like, once they sign up, you can automatically send them to like a questionnaire or something like that. And then it kind of puts them like in your pipeline a little bit quicker and more, like cohesively.
I like the idea of Calendly, and thank you, because when the couples are signing up for consultation, they go directly through my website.
Right.
And my website it's okay, it sends some reminders, but I like the idea of calendar what's it,
Calendly. Yeah, I
Calendly.
know.
Yes, I like that. Actually, one of my good friends suggested that I use Calendly, so
It's
um
time.
I think I think it's time to make that switch. Or I can add it like to my website where they click and it can just direct them to the questionnaires and the reminders and things like that. But thank you. I'm definitely going to put that in my notes of things to do.
Yes, like I said, I think that you're kind of, at that pace now, and it's just going to, like you said, add more cohesiveness to what it is that you're already doing, have a more, streamlined process. You don't have to do as much, conversation back and forth and coordinating and all of that. You can get all of your questions answered and just show up in the consultation with the majority of the information you need to know to make a really good sale. So
Yeah.
yes. And like I said, your first, if you're only doing one meeting type, so like I said, your consultations, then it's free. Once you start to maybe, have a couple different types of events, then, you got to pay for it. But
Yeah.
yeah, we all
Okay.
start somewhere.
Yep.
So yeah, once you get that, girl, let us know. We can't wait. We can't wait.
Yep. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Yesenia, I wanted to ask if you had anything to share in terms of pre-wedding conversations with your couples and or just wedding day prep, because I know I think you put 3 in the chat, so I wanted to provide some space for that. If not, Norman, we'll go to you, and then when she comes back, we'll double back.
Okay.
Go ahead. Oh, wait, no, I think she's coming now. Go ahead, Yesenia.
Oh, sorry. Hi. What I usually do, I do contracts too, and I usually request like a deposit uh, for the weddings and for the script. Some of the couples want to see the scripts, and some of them they would like to be surprised. So, you know, so that's easy, and they like it, they love it. So it's fine with me. It's better, and I do a lot of advertisement, but sometimes I don't do advertisement because then I get a lot of people calling me and I don't
That's
have
cool.
sometimes a lot of time to be on the phone because I have a full-time job.
Yeah.
So, if you're gonna be doing this full-time, I mean, it's excellent that you do a lot of, advertising. But if
Mm-hmm.
you're busy and you're not able to answer the phone when you're at work, it's kind of hard to do it. But probably in the future, I can probably dedicate myself more to do weddings. And but yeah, it's good to require a deposit, I think. To hold that wedding because some people will call you and say, yes, I want to get married, and then you don't never hear back from them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better just to lock that wedding and you know that you have the wedding already, booked on your schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And before the wedding, I usually tell them that they need to pay 2 days before the wedding or the day before the wedding. The
Okay.
way they're, because the day of the wedding, they're busy, they're doing their makeup, they're doing many things that they don't want to deal with the payments. So it's better for them to pay everything ahead and not to worry, to have that worry that they have to do payments on the same day of the wedding. And it's better.
I agree. Clarice asked a question in the chat and it says, what are the percentage you ask for a deposit?
It depends how much you charge. Usually it's 50% what I ask.
Okay. So no
Yeah.
matter does it matter if they are booking within the month or 6 months out, it's still the 50%?
50%, yes. Like right now I have a wedding already booked for October and they already deposit 50%.
Okay. Got it.
Yes.
All right. 50%.
Yes.
Anybody else? Who else does deposit? Or if you are, okay, so let me say this again, for people who are just getting started, you have to develop your payment schedule. You have to figure out, how do you want to be paid for your services? Do you want a deposit? Do you want full payment? And then if you do a deposit, again, what is the percentage that you're asking for in advance? When is the final payment due? And then you want to also take into consideration, when you are doing bigger weddings with multiple vendors that are a part of the wedding day, a lot of the remaining balances are due like within the same time period, like the 2 weeks before, the week before, a couple of days before. So, I always highly encourage, try to get your money before all of the bigger payments come. I've seen so many Facebook posts and stuff like that of people that are saying they're using the money from their cards to pay the rest of their vendors. That's people don't be putting money in cards no more. So we definitely want to be mindful of like your payment schedule. But yeah, if you were to receive a deposit, how much do you want your deposit to be in order to secure that date and time? And when do you want the remaining balance to be paid by?
It's better to do a contract. I have contract with all my couples.
Yeah.
Yes, and that way you give permission to them to take pictures, and then you can, have permission to, use pictures too as well, and you can use it on your website too, or your Facebook page, anywhere you want to use it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's so true.
And you also can create packages for, I have 3 packages that I create for the couples, and they can choose, which package they want. They want the first package, the second package, or the third package. They have to choose which one they want to get.
And how do you do your scheduling, Yesenia?
My schedule is open. I do weddings Monday through 7 days a week.
No, but how do couples schedule with you? Like, how do they do your consultation? How do they
connection,
schedule the consultation?
to get via phone. I do a meeting, FaceTime.
Okay.
Yes, via FaceTime, on the phone, like a 3-way line. Some people doesn't like to, be on video calls, so we do like 3-way calls. In the evenings when they have time, after work, sometimes they're not able to do it during the day because they have to work. So, I try to arrange, probably, do you want to schedule this around 7 p.m., 8 p.m.? I try to work with their schedule.
Yeah, so I'm going to suggest the same thing as with Clarice. It may be time to consider getting Calendly. That is a scheduling tool that will minimize all of the back and forth, the conversations that you're having on the phone, the back and forth with the text messages and trying to coordinate a time to speak. And it gives people options. So they can have an option where the meeting can be over the phone, and they would just provide their phone number, and then you would call them at the time of their meeting, or you can do video or whatever. I personally find that back when I used to offer a phone or a video consultation, that people who took phone consultations were more likely to not show up than people who clicked video. I don't know what the science is behind that. I don't know if video just means you're more serious or what. So I took out the phone option altogether just because that was, again, my experience for my business. But yeah, Yesenia, I think, it might be good for you to also look into Calendly, even if you're doing this part-time. Again, you do the one event, it's literally free. But even if you're getting someone calling you on the phone, you can either, answer the phone and just as you're talking them off of the phone, letting them know you're going to follow with this text message to, do a consultation. The consultation is whatever, free of charge, whatever you say to let them know that you have the opportunity to speak with them, but this is the process to go through it. And then the same thing with like text messages. You can just like eliminate a lot of the back and forth with giving them your availability and letting them pick when they're available based on your available time.
And what is the name of the program they say?
It's called Calendly. I'll drop it in the chat.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Calendly. I know there's other scheduling tools. I think it's like Equidity, and like sometimes your website will have like a built-in scheduling tool, but this is the one that I've been using for since I got into business ownership. So I just personally really like it, and I feel like it has a lot of additional features that as you get more into your business and maybe develop out your ceremony process a little bit more, and you might have additional meetings, like this is a great way to kind of coordinate. So when you have a lot of different couples, you're not like, trying to figure out who you're meeting here and what phase you are and all of these other things. So Calendly is really good for that. And then just in the chat, let's see, we have, as far as percentages, Hetney said at my first wedding, I was paid half. Did they pay you the other half? It just only said I was paid half, but did the other half come through? And then Clarice said, I require 50% deposit and the remaining is due 2 weeks before the wedding. I was asking because at times I thought 50% was steep. Okay, that's interesting.
Okay.
Same Clarice, I require 50% retainer. Sorry, this is Melissa. 50% retainer, signed agreement, and then the remainder is due 2 weeks before the wedding day. Okay, yes, they gave you the rest of your money. Okay, girl, because we need the full coins. Okay. Go ahead, Norman. What were you going to say?
So I was going to say for me, I do 50% as well. So originally it was 50% along with the signed contract in order to book, and then the other 50% 3 calendar days before the ceremony. Now when I have like added some new things to my business and also had like continued education and gone through like a few brainstorming, I figured that 7 calendar days is better, only because it gives them enough time. And usually during that last week, it's very hectic, especially when they're doing bigger weddings where it's like we're at a venue like Park Chateau or the Taj Estate, where, it's so many other moving pieces. So I do that. For some people who are newer, I do have a late fee added on there if you are late. So I learned that the hard way. My second wedding, Tiara knows, because I was cursing up a storm to Tiara. My second wedding, I was livid, like livid. So my second wedding, the consultation went really well. The woman was talking about punctuality and being on time and this and that. So I'm like, all right, like, she's basically trying to school me on being on time. So I'm like, all right, she's definitely going to be on time. Everyone, she was not. Time was not, like, that wasn't even in the vocabulary. She was 2 hours late.
Yeah.
2 hours late because what happened was somebody from New York was coming and they never left, and they walked in like nothing. Like, mind you, they rented a gazebo, and in that area, you could kind of tell that you needed to rent it, or else they missed their whole slot. So luckily, the cops did not come by, because if the cops came by, you technically don't have a spot because you paid for a spot for 1 p.m. and it's 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So my lesson from that is to add a late fee, because some of these people will not have consideration that. And I think what you also have to think of it is, if you are in business and you have multiple ceremonies in the same day, the other vendor doesn't care that you're late because of someone else. That's not their problem. So like you saying like, oh, Tiara, I'm late because like, Norman's ceremony was like behind. If Tiara says that's not my problem, I can't think up and gonna get sympathy cards from her because it's not her problem. So you also want to have in place, even if you're in those situations, like preferred people that you need to step in for you just in case, because there's times that, let's say for example, you may be booked or you may be away, so like you have people that you trust that you can give the wedding to. Like there'll be times that Tiara may refer me, or I may say, hey Tiara, take this wedding because I can't take it. So I would say know what your time is. I can't personally tell you what to charge for your late fee. I know what I charge for my late fee, and a few people have said like, "Oh, that's a little steep." And I'm like, honestly, when you play on my time, like this is it. So pick what you want to do. So I think sometimes I've definitely enforce the late fee depending on the couple. And then sometimes I say, you know what, it's a little 20 minutes. Like, all right, like I'll give you some grace. But that's also a judgment call you need to have. Um, for me, consultation wise, we always have a Zoom consultation only because, you know, they need to see I'm not a catfish. Um, and vice versa, you just need to see who you're marrying. So, we have a Zoom consultation. Usually it's 30 minutes. Sometimes it's an hour, depending on how well we flow. And then after that, they sign the contract. They give half the deposit. We talk as often as we need to. Like I've had couples where we've only spoken twice. I've had couples where we've spoken 5, 6 times. And I think what it is I don't have a real limit. Because I also want to make sure that they're comfortable. Like for most of these people, this is their first time doing this, and they don't intend on doing this, you know, another 3 to 4 times. So I just want to make sure that they are in a comfortable space. Now, I'm not gonna talk to you every last minute. Like let's say, for example, if you're calling for every little thing, now it's like, listen, I gotta, you know, not handhold you, but I need to make sure that you have all that you need. Um, and you just, and I guess for me, I just try to be as specific as possible so that and as detailed as possible so that there's no room for you to like have follow up and ask like 10 questions.
Yeah. No, that's real. I think it's super important. One, I know Clarice has dropped in there about her late fee. So she charges a late fee of $25 per 30 minutes after the first 30 minutes. I also charge a late fee, and I learned that the hard way as well. I had a wedding. It started an hour late because the DJ was coming from New York and got stuck in traffic. And then we did the whole ceremony. And I've actually, before we did the ceremony, they also realized that they left the marriage license. So that's what it was. It was already an hour late because of the DJ. And then they realized that they left the marriage license. So we still went and did the ceremony because time is of the essence when you're in a venue and you're already pushed back an hour. But then I actually had to wait another hour and like 15 minutes for them to go and get the marriage license and come back. They said they left it in the hotel. I think they left that thing back home in New York. Okay. Because it should not have taken an hour and 15 minutes. So like, that was kind of like the first time that I stayed for a reception, which that was not at all my plan. But if I'm, waiting for this license, I'm not coming back. You're in a different state. I'm in a different part of the state. We have to get this done now. But for them, I did charge a late fee, and that was my first time. And it was, I don't know, like a little uncomfortable, but also I did not want to be there for 4 or 5 hours. Like that was against my will. Like I did. It's different when I stay for the reception because you invited me and I've blocked off time in my calendar to do that. But it's different where it's like, okay, I would have to rearrange my whole entire schedule these next couple of days in order to finish this job. So I'm just going to stay here and finish the job, but you're also going to get charged for it. So that was my first time doing that. And then ever since then, I started to have a late fee. And then the only other time where I had to essentially enforce, not really a late fee, but I didn't do I didn't start with this. I require full payment to secure your ceremony date and time. So ain't no deposit, ain't no 50%, no nothing. It's a full 100. And so the one time that I budged on that policy, I absolutely regretted it. I had a couple getting married within like the next 3 weeks. It was supposed to be something small in their living room because they were having a destination wedding, but the bride's father wasn't able to travel. So they still wanted to have something very beautiful and intimate. They paid for an upgraded custom ceremony for a micro wedding. So we love that. But their thing was they wanted to make sure that I was going to show up. Okay. So I said, cool, we'll do the 50% and then the 50% the day of. Why did they give it? It probably took them maybe 3 days to answer my email. Okay. And 4 days in total to actually pay the remaining balance. And so one thing I do, which, people have their own opinions on this, but if you still have any type of balance due with me, I'm mailing your license but I'm telling you that I can't mail it until your event is closed, and that it needs to be mailed within 5 days. So, it's up to you. I'm always going to mail it, but like New Jersey doesn't tell the couple if it's been mailed, when it's been received, or like any of those things. So I'm never going to put myself in like a liability where, I can get my, whatever, get this business taken away from me in that regard. But I also want you to sweat, because give me my money. Like, why are you playing? So that verbiage always like gets people like, oh snap, like I want my license to be valid. I do too. So, I suggest, pay this balance. But yeah, so that was the only time that I budged on my policy, and I absolutely regretted it. But now what I'm starting to see is a lot of couples being happy about my policy. They like the idea of just having a one and done payment. I guess because they have so many vendors that have like these partial payments, and then they're all kind of due at the same time, that the concept of being completely done with one person and one shot is more appealing. So I've been getting that feedback a lot. I already felt that way, so I'm happy that they catching on. It is definitely like working out in my favor. So if you don't have a late fee, that's something that needs to be communicated within your contract. That's why contracts are so important. If you are an officiant that likes to, get more bang for your buck and maybe have multiple ceremonies in one day, not only do you need to have a late fee clause, but you also need to have almost like a release of responsibility clause saying like, after this certain amount of time, I'm able to walk away from this wedding without, any responsibility, not, owing you any money. You can't go and slander my reputation because this is like, outside of the time frame in which I'm willing to like dedicate to this, service. And so you're not going to continue to pay, which most people aren't, you decide to walk away. Now, whether you enforce your policies or not is up to you. I literally have a elopement in like 2 weeks, and I got a call from the groom today that was like, hey, this late fee is a little bit hefty, because I think it's like $50 every 15 minutes or something like that. I barely enforce a late fee unless it's like something super crazy. So like with him, I was like, it's okay. Like, we can waive it. Like, it's not that serious. I'll check back in to see if I regret it. But right now, I decided to waive it. So you can make decisions within like, your contract as well. But I think it's really good to have something already written in there to cover your behind. And then if you need to adjust it later, then, adjust it later. But that's all I would say about that.
One thing I will say though is that you see how Tiara mentioned that add stuff in your contract and adjust it later. If you're going to adjust it and you're comfortable with adjusting it, adjust it. But what you cannot do, or what I would advise you to not do, is adjust it and then now feel away or feel mad.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people do that where they'll say, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then now you take it out on a couple where it's like you gave the couple that inch. So unfortunately, like they ran with it with the mile. So you now need to, figure that out. But I will say, like, if you're going to adjust, stand on it, like, because too, if you start like being flip-floppy on that, then it makes you as a professional look unprofessional by flip-floppy. So you just have to like make a decision and stand on it.
Yeah, like a case-by-case basis, absolutely. So like for this couple, they have their room from I think like 11:30 to 3 at like a restaurant in North Jersey. And so they want their ceremony for 11. And I'm like, okay, cool. If we start at 11:30, like that's not going to, kill my day. Even if we get finished at 12, hopefully they invite me to lunch. Fingers crossed. But I love me a good meal when I'm on the job. But yeah, you definitely have to go on a case-by-case basis. But I just wanted to answer Melissa's question real quick. It says, Tiara, not sure what you charge, which I would absolutely share. But how do you overcome hesitations of paying in full? Such a great question. So right now I have 3 packages. I am rebranding to 2 packages, which I'm very excited for. But currently right now, my elopement package is $395. My micro wedding package is $695, and my full service wedding is $995. And so with the full payment, I do not get a lot of hesitation. I have to be honest with you. I do not. I think the most that I've gotten is someone asking to break it up into 2 payments. And so when I am asked to be broken into 2 payments, to me, it just shows that, you know, maybe you really want to work with me and you want to book me sooner than you have like the money for, which I can understand and respect that. And so usually only when asked, I will split it up to where it's like your first payment is half, and then 2 weeks later is when your second payment is due. So I'm right there, and you know, in your inbox like auto pay. I'm right there with it, right in there with the pay period. So that's like the fullest extent of that. I have had couples who are like, hey, I can't afford you right now, but I really, really want to work with you. Can you just please look, have my date on a lookout? So like if someone comes to you and like inquiries about that date, like send me a little text, like this is when I intend to, you know, schedule and stuff like that. So again, very like slim cases that happens. But when it does, again, it just shows that you really want to work with me. And like, maybe you just don't got it right now. And I can, again, respect that. But I still need my full fee. So yeah, a lot of times I'll like hold off for that. But my payment arrangements is on my website. So it's very transparent. My prices are on my website. So that's also very transparent. So the idea is that you understand that I require full payment and that's what you need to like confirm your date and time, and you know how much you're required to pay before you even schedule the consultation. So I would hope that you wouldn't schedule the consultation if you knew I wasn't within that bracket or you didn't really, you know, care for that payment preference. I think a contract, again, just kind of helps people believe that you are going to be there, that you are going to show up. I have had, like I said, that couple that's like, hey, you know, I just want to make sure that you're going to be there. This is quite a bit of money, yada, yada, yada. And so I let them pay me half and half and immediately regretted it. So it just made me even more like, you know, standing 10 toes on what I agreed to. But when I first started deciding that I was going to be in this business, I did a lot of market research, and there's an officiant out here in New Jersey. She's a Black woman, and Weddings by Aretha is her business name. And so I looked at her business model and I just love how she got down. I love that she required a full payment. I love that she required 24 hours to figure out if you want to work for her or not, or your contract is null and void. Like, it's very straightforward. And I was like, okay, I'm not quite there yet. So when I first started, I did a 72-hour hold. Right now, I'm in the period of a 48-hour hold. So once we have our consultation and you receive your contract, I put your date on a courtesy hold for 48 hours. And if you decide not to go with me, it's automatically released back into the open market for another couple to get. So there's like a little bit of urgency there as well that we create. And yeah, I just find that to be like the most helpful. But yeah, I don't really receive a lot of hesitation for the full payment. And at the same time, like, my full payment sometimes is cheaper than people's deposits. So let's, you know what I mean? Like, let's be real. Let's think about the industry that we work in. Let's think about how much people are actually allocating to, you know, the different vendors that they have and what their budget is. And I think also when you start to have your clientele switch up and you start to get opportunities to work with more like wedding planners, and just when your referrals are coming from other wedding professionals, there is, you know, a kind of understanding that I'm only going to send you someone that's like qualified. I'm only going to send you someone who is looking for what you're providing, maybe custom ceremony. I'm going to send you someone who, again, understands that this is your price and their budget is within your price. And so you get even less hesitation from those type of couples because they're just better educated and they're kind of more prepared to, you know, spend some money for what they want. I hope that helped. Yes, that was a roundabout way. But I'll say this: that has always been my policy from when I started Royal Treatment with Tiara. It's always been full payment and like contract to secure your ceremony date and time. So that has been a standard from the beginning. Okay, cool. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is, me and Norm was looking at a Facebook group, and we had saw one of our peer officiants share a, I don't even know what the heck you call that. What would you even call that, Norm? Like let's just say a wedding day shenanigan. Let's just say
Yeah, like a venting session.
Yeah, so we would love to share the scenario with you guys. And as a business owner, as a wedding officiant, would love to hear what would you have done in this particular scenario for your business. Y'all ready? I wish I could find it. I can't remember if she wrote it or it was a video, but essentially, an officiant had a job. She had booked through the couple. I believe they only pay her half. I believe they only pay her half, and she was supposed to be receiving the balance.
Wait, I'm gonna tell the story.
Okay, go ahead. You tell it.
Because you know I know the story. So she did a video and she ended up having a special. Holidays were here, so sometimes we'll do a special with our pricing. So she did the special with our pricing, and she, in her opinion, said this was one of the examples of her budging on her contract when she should have actually just followed through with what's on there. So the bride paid her half, and she said, okay, that's fine. My mom will pay the other half. Mind you, this is less than a week time frame that this wedding's happening. This is a Tuesday that they're conversing. The wedding's on Friday. Her mom is going to pay the other half. So she said, hey, the day is coming by. And now is the day. She's like, hey, do you have the remaining balance? So she said, oh,
Now
yeah,
this
you
is
can contact
day.
Yes, wedding day, which is Friday now. She said, hey, you can contact my mom, and here's my mom's information. So she contacts her mom. Mind you, she already drove. The woman worked at a restaurant that she recommended to her, so she went there and ate because she said it wasn't too far from where they wanted to get married at. The mom was just like, who is this? And she's like, oh, this is the officiant marrying your daughter today. And she said, well, apparently you have the remaining balance that's due today. And she definitely gave her a grill session on some how much you charge. And she's like, well, I'm not paying you until the ceremony's over. So basically she told the officiant, you will get paid based off how well you do or how well you do not do. So with the officiant, yes, the officiant, the face Yesenia has is the face the officiant had. So the officiant ended up saying, oh, okay, and the officiant went home and did not go to the wedding.
Yeah. Okay, so basically the nooks and the crooks of the story is she has a contract with the couple, not the Black Uptown. Stop it, Clarice. She had a contract with the couple. The mom now all of a sudden was doing the other half of the payment. When she reached out to get the payment, the mom basically was like, I decide whether I'm going to pay you or not based on the job that you do. And from our understanding of how the story was told, the officiant just decided to not show up to the ceremony, just was like, all right, we'll find somebody else to do it type of situation, and did not reach out to the couple, just kind of left the situation where it was. So I would love to hear, what would you guys do in that situation?
I would definitely, sorry.
Go
I would definitely reach out to the couple, let them know what's going on. And since there's a contract that's been signed, we would go by the contract. No payment has been paid in full, so no services.
Okay, I know that's right. Who else?
I was going to say the same thing, reaching out, explaining what had transpired. Maybe they weren't aware of that. And just saying, if payment's not paid in full, I won't be able to do the ceremony.
I love that. Go ahead.
I had a wedding last week and they didn't do a payment because the lady couldn't make a payment because she didn't have a way to do it. She didn't have a Apple Pay, she didn't have Seller. She didn't have a way to do it and she said that she was working very late. But she knows me for a while, so I know her. She
Mhm.
said I will pay you the day of the wedding. So I took the risk, of doing the wedding and I said, okay, that's fine. The day of the wedding, they gave me $60 extra.
Okay.
Yeah, as a tip. So it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works out, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Anybody else? Clarice, what you doing? What you saying to mom? Sending a couple of text messages because that's crazy.
So, to be completely transparent with you, my very first wedding was, well, it wasn't similar, but my very, very first wedding, I don't accept Cash App, Zelle, or anything like that. All the payments is done electronically through my website. And the reason why is because, Cash App bounce, Zelle bounce. You
Mhm.
have all of these games and being played through wire transfers. And then you have a lot of scams. And so I actually did the wedding, and maybe like a week after the wedding, I received a notification from the bank saying this couple, well, what do you call it?
Like they dispute the charge?
Yes, this couple disputed the
No.
charge. So I said, I
That's
called them.
crazy.
Yes, and I called, and they were from Brooklyn. I mean, not that I'm sorry for anybody that might be from Brooklyn, but
I am.
oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry. It's fine.
um, so it bounced, and I called them and I said, hey, I just want to inform you that I didn't receive the payment. And I can tell that the bride knew something was up, but
Mhm.
the groom was like, well, we paid you, and I said, no, I'm sending them the proof that the charge was disputed. So we're going back and forth, we're texting, and I'm like, I did your service and I did a hell of a great job. Everything that was in the contract I did. I need my payment.
Yeah.
So the groom is like, well, we paid you. I don't know what to tell you. And so then it got quiet for like maybe a month. I'm texting them, I'm calling them. They're not returning text messages or calls. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna take my L and I have to do this much better.
Yeah.
And try to find another avenue to make sure that contracts are signed and that this can never happen to me again. So I must say about maybe my fourth wedding in, and now I'm seeing that they're on my Instagram page. She's like popping in and out the stories, I guess, to see like, what's going on or what's being said. And I'm saying, I'm professional, so I'm not gonna air out your dirty laundry on my social media page. But boy, I wanted to. Um, and I'm gonna say maybe my fourth wedding in, I got a random payment from the couple. And I said that was their guilt weighing on them. That
Yep.
was their guilt weighing on them. And
Yep.
this is, and they wound up paying me, but they paid me 4 months later. And you could have just simply said, listen, I'm broke. I don't know, how I'm going to pay you. But you went the dirty way out. And I was so hurt. But I was happy that I was able to get my payment. But it was months later. And it really broke my heart. And so I said, you know what? I'm not going to let this stop me in my business. I'm going to continue on in my business. I just have to make it a little bit more stronger and be a little bit more strict about how I'm receiving my payments.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Oh, but the black uptowns, boy, I be wanting to throw them black uptowns on so bad. And if any of y'all know the joke about the black uptowns, oh, get with the joke. If you're from New York or if you know anything about New York.
I think what it is too is I'm glad. I think it's also their karma. Like probably stuff was happening, and I'm not a person to like wish anything bad. But I think once you realize you put like bad energy out there, they probably was like, "Oh wow, this is happening in my life because we really sat there and didn't give this woman the money that she like earned."
No,
So
they try to play.
I'm glad
I
you got your
I
money.
totally agree.
Zell isn't the
Yes.
world. Zell isn't the enemy, but I'm glad you
Yes.
got your money. NASDAQ
Yes.
may be your enemy, but Zell isn't your enemy.
Thank you.
No, that's really crazy. That's really crazy. Oh man. Hey Rosa. Good to see you, honey.
Hi, girls and guys.
Yeah, so we're just talking about a scenario we had saw on a Facebook group, which is essentially a officiant was supposed to do a wedding. She got half paid by the bride. The bride informed her the day of, not the day of, but that the mom was going to finish the rest of the payment. And then literally the day of, when the officiant reached out to the mom was like, you know, if you do a good job, like I'll pay you, but I'll be the determining factor of that. And she tried to enforce that she needs to get paid before the ceremony. And the mom was very adamant about deciding whether she was going to pay or not based on what she felt was a good job. And so the officiant decided not to do the ceremony. So we were just asking, what would you do in that situation for your business?
That's a tough one because if you already went all the way to providing a good service up to that day, then I personally would be like, unless you pay me, then I will not be doing the ceremony. I apologize. You know, it's my time and energy that I already put into this whole ceremony thing. And then for you to have the audacity to be like, hey, it's up to me if I'm going to pay you. Like, I'm sorry, but no. And I know bad reviews are going to come from it. But then again, where do you draw the line of people taking advantage of you? That's just my opinion.
No, that's very true. That's very true. Yeah, I'm trying to think, what would I do?
I think it has to do also like if the way they come at me, like
Yeah.
if they are like, hey, you know, like kind of things happen and I understand things happen, you know, it's like, hey, you know, I'm like short of money, blah, 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 blah. Can you work with me? Then that's a whole different scenario. But if they're coming at me like, hey, it's going to be up to me if you do a good job and then I'll pay you, like, you're not going to go and tell I don't know, like somebody that's going to be doing your hair, you know, like, hey, if you do a good job, I'm going to pay you. It's like, or you're not
Right.
going to do that with the big companies, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's not how it works, lady. I'm sorry, but no.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I would have to agree. I would definitely would have reached out to the couple, let them know, hey, listen, this is the type time your mom is on. I suggest you tell her to send you the payment and send it to me if you want me to do your ceremony. But outside of that, I don't think I would either, but I would definitely follow up with couple. That was one thing me and Norm had wanted to emphasize was based on the rendition of the story that was told in that Facebook group, it didn't seem like the officiant reached out to the couple. That's just an assumption we're making, being that she didn't specify that she did. So we just wanted to make that super clear. Like if your contract is with the couple, your conversations have been with the couple, then if you're not going to show up and if you're going to cancel, that also needs to go through the couple, no matter who is contacting you or anything like that. It doesn't matter if you have a rude wedding planner or whatever the situation is, you need to speak to whoever it is that you're contracted by, and make that like, you know, a point to do good business. But Clarice also said, I probably want to show up as well because we had agreed on the payment. If I reach out to the couple and no payment is made, yeah, like at the end of the day, whatever your payment process is, then you need to really stick to it because the likelihood of you chasing them on the back end is high. And that will get us right into our question from Melissa. She says, how do you charge them the late fee? Do you invoice them? Do you bring it up a day or two after the wedding or the same day? And at what point is it appropriate to bring up? Norm, you want to talk about that?
I do. I had a wedding, Cinco de Mayo, not this year, not 2024, 2023. They were an hour and 30 minutes late. Why were they an hour and 30 minutes late? Because the woman who was doing the hair for the bride was 2 hours late. So that, once your hair's not done, the photographer is not going to work with you, the videographer is not working with you, any other vendor isn't working with you. So now she's just stuck. So I did inform her. Like, one, it sucked for her because she had to cut pieces of the script out because the venue was like, listen, we got to go. So you're gonna have to cut some of these things out. You said this is a half an hour ceremony. No, it needs to be a little shorter than that because the cocktail hour was 30 minutes, and I did like let her know like, hey, FYI, you're an hour and 30 minutes late, so this is the late fee. So this is another thing backing to what Tiara said. She ended up paying me. But for me, like the times I've had the late fee, I wasn't saying like, hey, if you don't give me the money now, I won't do your wedding. And I've been lucky all the time, or so far, knock on wood, all those times to have actually still, in fact, gotten the remaining balance. So one thing too, once Tiara said is that people are not putting in money anymore in cards because I noticed like because she owed me money, she owed other vendors money as well, and that took time for her to have to like pay us in increments. But now I realize, like looking at her guests, no offense, it was like they didn't look like they were giving her money. Like they looked like they were there for the drink and the food, and yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a judgment call. I've heard of some officiants who said, "I'm not doing anything until I get the money." I've heard of some that waited and they got it. So it just really it's up to you if you want to enforce it. But one thing Tiara does is, like she said earlier, that if you are late in that event, I have your marriage license. Not saying it like that, but basically, ultimately saying it without saying, I have your marriage license. So cough up this money one way or the other.
Yeah. No, definitely. I was literally just trying to see if I can find an email just with like the verbiage that I used. But again, I just tried to emphasize, well, okay, I'll put it like this. To answer your question, I charge them a late fee by sending them an invoice via email. I do all of my payments through PayPal. So I would just create like an invoice link on PayPal, let them know, hey, this is the late fee or the remaining balance or, whatever language it is. Because I do full payment, it's more than likely not a remaining balance. It will be a late fee. So I will acknowledge the late fee, acknowledge the rate for the late fee. So if it's like the whatever 30, I used to do $50 per 30 minutes. That was my old one. Now it's 50 per 15 minutes. So when I did have to do a late fee, I did it was an extra $150 because I think that either $150 or $200. I think that's about all that I charge, even though I was there way later. But I'm like, I enjoy a cocktail hour. I did get a meal out of it. It's whatever. Plus, I just feel like you want to teeter that line also because you don't want to open yourself up for a bad review. Like you want people to acknowledge where they did wrong at, but you don't want to like be a tyrant about it. Like, I don't know. I think it's a very unique balance to have there. But yeah, I'll just send them an email literally the day after. Hey, had a great time yesterday. Congratulations again. This is our follow-up. Like this is what we need to discuss and rectify before I can send off your marriage license. And like I said, I haven't had like any issues with people that are like, oh, like, are you holding my thing hostage? Or like people understood that they still owed a balance. And so I didn't have an issue. People just pretty much pay their balance. But I do think, again, just having that language of, well, to close out your event, your balance needs to be paid, and your marriage license has a 5-day, return due date. So I don't know what lines you need to read between, but I need you to send me this money. So I don't know. I feel like, yeah, maybe I'll let people read between the lines a little bit, but I would say definitely immediately after, because some people go on their honeymoon. So you don't want to last, wait a couple of days or a week or anything like that. I think it is something to acknowledge on the same day. With my late fee, I acknowledged it on the same day. And then even when I had that one couple where I did the 50% and then the 50% the day of, and it took them like 3 days to pay me, acknowledged it on that day. Hey, I'm going to send you an email. It'll have the payment link for the remaining balance. Congratulations, yada, 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 yada. And then just be a lot more thorough in the email, and then always provide the link. So it's just, an easy payment and stuff like that. But to Norman's point, there are officiants who say that they will not do anything, like literally nothing. They can be there at the venue. They're not doing anything until the balance is paid. I feel like that's very awkward. I feel like that's very stressful. I cannot see me doing that in my business. I see myself taking an L before I make you pay me, like literally that day on the day. I don't know. I don't know. That just always makes me feel weird. So that's personally how I go about it. But I did want to see if I can find an email. Just so again, I can read off like what exactly did I say. One second. I cannot think of this people email. Yeah, I can't. I'm gonna look on the side, but another thing I just wanted us to talk about very quickly, just because we have a lot of people who are new in here. We hopefully have people in here that applied, but tomorrow is the last day to apply for the Fellowship for Change program through Wedding Pro. It is a program. I know that's right, Rosie. You better head. It is a program through Wedding Pro. Wedding Pro is Wedding Wire and The Knot together. And essentially they have a program for wedding professionals that are in their first 5 years of business that is considered underrepresented, and they provide you mentorship, they provide you education, they provide you free advertisement on their storefront, and then you also get access to any of their like upcoming events. If they have socials or workshops or anything like that, you essentially become a part of the Wedding Pro family. Myself, I was chosen for the 2023 cohort. My wonderful co-runner Norm was chosen for the 2024 cohort. We also had 2 other officiants that got chosen for the 2024 cohort that are a part of the Wedding Officiant Academy. So not bragging or anything, but we definitely want to see how many people we can get in there for 2025. So I dropped the application in the chat. It is easy to apply, literally free. It takes you I ain't gonna say 2 seconds. It may take you 10-15 minutes. I'm not gonna say 2 seconds, but please feel free to name drop either me or Norman on your application. I believe it asks for like a referral or a recommendation or something. I'll let Rosa speak because I think she definitely applied. I see some other people said that they applied, but yeah, tell them about the application process.
Yeah, I applied. It was pretty short. Just where I got stuck was the whole like, hey, 3 referrals of like professionals, and that's where I got stuck. And I reached out to you and Norman. I have just a quick question. Were we supposed to get like an email stating that they received your application, or is it just kind of like you submit it and then that's it?
I honestly think it's just you submit it and that's it. I really feel like I got like radio silence until I got my acceptance email, and that was like driving me crazy.
Yeah, because I'm over here like shitting bricks. Like it's like, did I submit it? Did I not submit it? Did they get it? Did they not get it? So that's where. But it was an easy process. It just asked you kind of like I explained a little bit about your business, how long you've been doing it. What do you hope to get from this mentorship thing? And it was probably like 10-15 minutes to apply, and then that was it. So fingers crossed and good luck to everybody.
Fingers crossed, guys. What were you going to say, Norman?
I was going to say you're in suspense for a while. Since I am one of the last or most recent core classes, it's 1,000% worth it. Wed by Norm beginning 2024 to Wed by Norm beginning 2025 is 2 completely different Wed by Norms. And not in terms of like it's a whole 180. It's still the same way, but it's more advanced, more adult. So think of how I can reference it is what I know I'm being a teenager in 2023, and then at the end or the beginning of 2024, and then the beginning of 2025, what by norm just like became legal, and that was 21 and can go and get liquor at the bar. So yeah, definitely join, definitely sign up, definitely take advantage. I will say there are a lot of good people that I met in my cohort. There were some people that I didn't know at all because they just wasn't around. But one thing Tiara will tell you, that Tiara told me is let's take advantage of every opportunity that you have. Some of these people that will be your mentors are people that if you research them, I'm not too sure who's going to be your mentor. I'm not going to lie to you. So whoever decides, whoever is going to be a mentor, or whoever are the group of mentors, some of these people you have to pay like 200 an hour just to sit there and have a conversation with them, and you get all of it for free. Um, I see someone said, "How long does it take?" So it took 2 months, and it was 2 months of agony, 2 months of praying, 2 months of like hoping, like, please let me get this. I'm in the house screaming, please let me get this. So it's a legit 2 months. So for your class, usually it was you apply by Thanksgiving and you find out right when the new year starts. But they decided to switch things up this year, and the application last day is tomorrow, and then you guys should be finding out in April.
Yeah.
So I will say, just if you get in, congratulations in advance. Take advantage. Like I said, take advantage. There's so many good people that you see, and so many events that they have. I know they're trying to have in-person events as well. I know I like had good times at any of the educational or like the networking stuff that they had. So yeah, apply.
Yeah. So I would say the biggest thing, one is you get a one-on-one mentor. So you literally have someone that has been in the, wedding industry for 10, 15, 20 plus years, that you meet with on a monthly basis. You also get education from their, world-class educators. So that looks like, people that are planners, people that are venue owners, photographers, videographers, but just have been, again, in the business long enough to be able to share tips for longevity and other just business education. When it comes to the advertising, I'm not sure how many of you guys advertise on Wedding Pro. As a matter of fact, I do. I know a lot of people are just starting out, but if you pay for advertising on like any platform, just something you pay a monthly basis, drop a 1 in the chat. But yeah, Wedding Pro is a very expensive wedding platform. When I first started, like my first year of officiating, I signed up on Wedding Pro. I paid $250 a month, and it had a year contract. So that is a $3,000 bill. And so when you get into the fellowship, you now get to have that advertisement for free. So it's not the same placement as if you were paying, but it's still for the free, and it's above where if you would have a free profile. So that part is very beneficial as well. They help you with your storefront. You have access to literally all of the mentors. And so when I got into that program, the first thing I reached out to was the coordinator of the program. And I had a meeting with her and I said, hey, how can I leverage this opportunity? And the best advice she gave me was to not only just stick to my mentors, speak to every single person that you want to talk to, because like Norman said, these are people you would have to pay quite a bit of cash, okay? Quite a bit of cash to get their undivided attention, to get their personalized advice into your like actual business. So it is a very great opportunity to, really leverage. And then also, so for me, the reason why I applied and I was grateful for getting in is because I had came out of the notary industry, and in the notary industry, officiating is like a subcategory, a niche, right? But then we also recognize that there's a multi-billion-dollar wedding industry, and at every single wedding, the officiant is a role that needs to be, fulfilled, whether it's clergy or courthouse or friend, family, or professional. There has to be an officiant at every single wedding. And so I knew that I wanted to get more wedding specific mentorship. And that's why I applied for the fellowship. So I was lucky enough to get connected with a planner. Her name is Desiree Dent. She is based in Chicago, and she's been doing this work for about 20 years. And she's been officiating for about, I want to say 5. She pivoted when COVID happened. But this is a business accelerator, right? This is not where you're going to, maybe learn everything about officiating, but this is going to teach you how to have an officiant business, how to provide great offerings, how to create a customer journey, how to, utilize your reviews and testimonials, and just essentially how to stand out. So for me, when I came into that program, yes, I had an idea that I wanted to officiate. And yes, I maybe had like my business name and things of that nature, and I had a couple weddings under my belt, but the process that I've been able to create, the confidence in my pricing, the additional just unique perks that comes with working with me, and the way that I handle my ceremonies have completely transformed because of this program in a way quicker time frame than if I would have did it on my own. So with it being free to apply, there's just way too many benefits. And I'm going to tell you guys, like I told Norman, like I'll tell anybody, make sure that these people know your name. Make sure that your camera is on. Make sure that you're talking in every single meeting, because you will get selected for opportunities to showcase your business that other people in your fellowship would not. So for my fellowship, I was featured in an article for Wedding Pro, and it was for them to present the opening of their 2024 Fellowship for Change program. And then my friends, peer co-host, Rev Whitney, based in California, she is kind of like the cover photo for like the mentee. So when you go onto the website, and if you see like a beautiful, Black woman with locks, and she has on her, minister robe, that is Rev Whitney. And so we were able to show out and stand out a little bit more for our year. So we had these kind of different opportunities. So, you just have to make sure that you are talking to the right people and you're leveraging every opportunity. And something like that is amazing. So make sure you take advantage. Okay. That was my little spiel. We just wanted to save the last 10 minutes just for an open forum, open conversation. If anyone had any questions, if anyone had any plans that they're doing for 2025 that they want to share, wanted some clarity on, wanted a little confidence behind or direction, we just wanted to open it up for that.
I heard somebody mention that they take their payment on, what is it, like a platform or online. What do you guys recommend? Because I do my payments like Zelle, all that stuff. But now that they were talking about that horror story where they disputed it, I was like, oh crap, like maybe I should just change it to something else.
Well, I mean, I think technically anybody can dispute anything, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but I will agree. I think finding one place to consistently keep all of your money, having it coming through one like specific place is very beneficial. I'll be honest, when I first started, I was collecting on Zelle, and then I was also collecting on Cash App, and just like wherever people in PayPal, and wherever people wanted to do it. And now I'm strictly PayPal. I only do PayPal. Oh, congratulations! She said she expected to do any day, girl. Shout out to you for hanging out on this call with us. That's amazing. Congratulations. But yes, so now I do everything through PayPal. I also added a 5% transaction fee. So every transaction, it has that 5% fee added on. So that covers like my PayPal fee. So I'll still get my full fee. And then because of PayPal, one, I like it because they take any major credit cards. And then two, it's just well known, well trusted, and they have their own ways of disputing and stuff like that. So I think it just gives people the perception of buyer protection. And then as a business owner, it gives us like business owner protection as well. But that's why I use PayPal. I don't know what everybody else does.
And the PayPal is, you use like a business account PayPal, or is that just like business? Okay. That's
Yep.
what.
So yeah, you can have your personal account, you can have your business account. PayPal also has like a debit card, so then you can have your own debit card for your business. It has quick invoicing.
Okay.
I believe it does. I don't know why you would use this, but I think it does have like a point of sale system. So like if you have to take maybe like a card in person or something like that, like it has an opportunity to do that as well. So
Okay. And then
yeah.
before I forget, I didn't know, but I think Chase has like a, what is it, small business, beginning business like program through them as well. I didn't know this. I found this out at my first mixer that I went to. It had nothing to do with weddings. It was just like a regular mixer. There was a lady there that's I think the vice president of the one here in California. So she was there and I just started chatting with her and she's like, well, what do you do? I'm like, notary, and then I do weddings. She's like, tell me more about your wedding side.
Yeah.
So she's going to put me in through that program as well. So anybody that's on here, maybe you guys can look into that too if you guys are just starting off. So just a little quick pointer I wanted to share with everybody.
I love that. Thank you. I was going to say there's definitely a lot of, different programs out here as well. So Cornell has like a women in entrepreneurship program that is free. It's like through Bank of America in Cornell. It's a little bit more technical. I did get into it. I didn't complete it. They have it, I want to say like every couple of months. And it's like a self-paced and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different programs that are out here that can help you kind of, build out your business. But did anybody else want to share where they take their payments in from?
I use Stripe.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I use Square. I do have Stripe, but I use Square. And so when I found out the fee, I added that to my price.
Yeah.
But now I'm really thinking about the one time, because then that'll be 2 fees if it's split.
Yeah, that's true. Anytime I do split the payment, and I've only done this, I want to say maybe twice, I add on the fee both times. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, or like you say, you can add it on ahead of time, so like maybe that first payment is a little bit heavier and then the second payment not so much, but you still kind of cleared it. So that's so funny. I also found that email and I wanted to read it to you guys as far as like the follow-up when there's a late fee involved or people didn't pay or whatever the situation is. So I got that I misquoted myself. I did not do 50% and 50%. I did 75% and 25%. I know my ass ain't do no 50-50. Sorry, I did not mean to curse, but I just knew I did it. I just knew I didn't, but I was like, I knew it was something. Yeah, so we had a 75% payment and then the 25% was due like on the day of. And so the email that I sent it said, hope all is well. And this is literally the next day after. So hope all is well and you both are rested from your beautiful celebration this weekend. As discussed via phone, Brittany requested a payment accommodation that we agreed upon via contract, and I attached the contract that the remaining balance of $175 will be paid on 9/8. So maybe it was a couple of days later. Maybe it's like this couple of days later. So on 9/8, and I was like, unfortunately, the final payment has not been received. I think this might have been my second email. Unfortunately, the final payment has not been received. Feel free to pay, via PayPal. And then please confirm when payment is sent so that I may close this event and mail your marriage license. New Jersey allows 5 days from the ceremony date to return a marriage license. Don't, hesitate with any questions. Have a great day. So that's what my email looked like. And like I said, I got a, pretty good response. I mean, I got my payment, so, that's the best response I can get. I ain't need no thank you or none of that. Just send the check. So yeah, so like I said, I just let them know, hey, this is what we discussed. This is what our contract says. This is the attachment of the contract, so you can look at it again, just as I've been looking at it. This is an easy pay link. This is the next steps. Pay this, or this thing ain't being sent. And let's close this out in this time frame. So I hope that helped. Okay, perfect. So we have about 2 minutes left. So of course we have to just really quickly. Oh yes, Clarice, please use me and Norman as your references for Wedding Pro. If you need a name and email, I will drop my name, and then this is my email. TIARA. Yeah, that's me. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, the last day to apply is literally tomorrow. If you have not applied yet, make sure you apply. It is literally free. It is for wedding pros within their first 5 years. Everything is virtual, and you meet about twice a month. So it's not super intensive or anything like that. I do believe the meetings are during the day. So, that may be a little bit of a conflict. Again, if you can't have your camera on, be in the chat, you know what I'm saying? Maybe have, throw in a comment or two or whatever, but just let people know that you're there. Make sure that you show up. They try to keep it very interactive. So they have things like happy hours where they put the education piece away. You guys are meeting on more of a social basis like this. Sometimes you might see familiar faces in the happy hours. You never know, but we try our best to continue to, support our Wedding Pro fam. And like I said, I am trying to get as many people from the Wedding Officiant Academy into the Fellowship for Change program as I possibly can. I know Camille, she's the one that's in charge of it. Be like, oh girl, and we be in there representing. I think this year they have about 5 officiants, right, Norman?
Yeah, my class we had 5, so far we're the most.
Yes, yeah, because my class, I think we had 4. So yes, we want to continue to dominate because we are absolutely underrepresented within the industry. So if we can strengthen ourselves and how we show up for our business and our confidence and stuff, we will absolutely continue to be noticed. You will get, if you signed in through Luma, you will get a email for you to give this a rating. We ask for 5 stars. We ask for you to drop maybe something you learned or, just something that you were excited about during this call so we can encourage more people to join us. But, outside of that, we really do appreciate you hanging out with us. This was such a great call. Ooh. Yes, and until next time, of course, we'll see you guys in the Facebook group. If you need additional support or one-on-one support from me and Norm, we have coaching, we have mentorship. We are gearing up to start our Wedding Day Shadowing Experience program. And we also have digital products on our storefront if you need additional support with anything within the wedding business. Go ahead, Yesenia.
Thank you for the invite.
Yes, absolutely. Are happy you joined us, and thank you for sharing. We appreciate that as well.
Thank you.
Okay, y'all have an amazing rest of your evening. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice.
See y'all. All right, let's stop recording.